Congress leader Salman Khurshid is in Indonesia, and while interacting with the delegation, he has said that Article 370 of the Constitution, which had granted special status to Jammu and Kashmir, had long created a perception of Kashmir being separate from the rest of India, and this perception has finally been put to an end with the government's abrogation of the article. In fact, calling the sense of a separate identity a major problem, Mr. Khurshid further highlighted the positive outcomes since the abrogation, including 65% voter participation in subsequent elections, which led to the establishment of an elected government in Kashmir. This is the Congress leader's candid admission while he is in Indonesia. In fact, Mr. Khurshid is batting big for this BJP move. He has said that this was indeed a remarkable move. In fact, calling the sense of a separate identity a major problem, Congress's Salman Khurshid has highlighted the positive outcomes since the abrogation of Article 370, which actually includes 65% voter participation in subsequent elections, which, as you know, has led to the establishment of an elected government in Kashmir. He's clearly said that Article 370 of the Constitution had long created a perception of Kashmir being separate from the rest of India, and now this perception has finally been put to an end with the government's abrogation of the article. Listen in to Mr. Khurshid's detailed remarks.
Kashmir had a major problem for a long time. Much of that was reflected in the thinking of the government in an article called 370 of the Constitution, which somehow gave an impression that it was separate from the rest of the country. But Article 370 was abrogated. It was abrogated. And it was finally put to an end because so much time has passed. Subsequently, there was an election in 65% participation in election. There's an elected government in Jammu and Kashmir today. And therefore, for people to want to undo everything that has happened, the prosperity that has come to Kashmir is something which is very unfortunate.
My colleague Nazir Masoodi has been tracking the latest developments for us. He joins us live at the moment. In fact, we have my colleague Sunil Prabhu also with us, tracking the latest as far as the Congress is concerned. Let's get in a word from Nazir first. Nazir, we've just heard Congress leader Salman Khurshid say that finally the government's abrogation of the article has changed the perception on ground zero. But you've been reporting from the valley. What is your assessment and what are people on ground zero saying?
Well, let's talk about Salman Khurshid's statement. It clearly reflects that when you go as part of the Indian delegation, you speak as an Indian, transcending the party lines. We all know what has been the Congress's stated position. It is resolution after abrogation of Article 370 and downgrading Jammu and Kashmir into 2 union territories. And there was a clear-cut, position which was contrary to the government stand. But when Salman Khurshid goes to the, on a foreign soil, or Shashi Tharoor, they have taken clearly a very position which may not reflect the Congress's party position, but here they are talking about as Indian, as the government's view, not to show that there's a discord between the government and the opposition when it comes to Kashmir. He clearly praises the government move and saying it has made things better in Kashmir. There have been election, very highly participative election with 65%, this turnout, and then he talking about how people are moving on and Pakistan should go do these stop misadventures and things should move on. That's what he's trying to send a message to the world. When it comes to Kashmir, there's one position, that is the India's position, not the Congress or the BJP position. Perhaps that is the sentiment behind this statement. But nevertheless, very powerful statement. Clearly, it may not be easy for the Congress to explain because given the fact they have already passed a resolution. Here on the ground, we have seen over the last 6 years, lots of things are changed, and lots of things, as they say, more things change, more they remain same. When it comes to, for example, militancy, we are now reeling under that recent terror attack in Pahalgam, and then its aftermath, Operation Sindoor, as Home Ministry is visiting here in Poonch here today in an hour from now. Now he will be reaching here maybe at around 11:30 to meet here the victims of the victim families and give them some, appointment orders in the government service. Also, he is likely to visit some of the religious places here in Poonch. The Poonch has suffered a great losses in terms of loss of lives and the property. It has borne the brunt of that shelling. Let me try to talk to Ravinder Raina, senior BJP leader and former president. You are here in Poonch. Home Minister is visiting here. What is the sentiment? What message he wants to send by his visiting this place?
Honorable Home Minister of India, Shri Amit Shah Sahab, has arrived in Jammu and Kashmir. And today, Amit Shah Sahab is arriving in this border district, Poonch, adjoining to the line of control. After the successful Operation Sindoor carried by our brave hearts, the coward Pakistani army targeted the civilian areas. They can't face our brave hearts.